Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. 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 Adonai hu ha'Elohim, 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 Adonai hu ha'Elohim,
A very good morning to you all. A very good Shabbat Shalom. What you see behind me is the Spanish-Portuguese Synagogue of Amsterdam. I am not Orthodox, don't you fret. But the reason why I have this synagogue behind me is because that in the Middle Ages somewhere, a Spanish-Portuguese Jew figured out how the temple ought to have looked like. And he came up with a plan. And this is the plan. You see now the interior of what he considered to be that temple. But having had this plan, of this temple. He understood it's not a physical and literal representation of the temple. So what did he do? Somewhere here, above my head, there is a beam cut off, like when a person deceased, when you cut off a tzitzit from their talit, to render this person free from all the commandments, basically saying that, this person is free and released from all the laws, which is so important in today's portion of Et Hanan, parasha, is that this synagogue is released from its commandment to serve as a temple. It's a mere synagogue. And the great thing about this synagogue, and great is the emphasis, is this is the biggest Sephardic synagogue still in Europe. And it used to be the biggest synagogue in the world. After this synagogue, many other Sephardic synagogue has been fashioned after it. One of those synagogues is in your city, in London. It's Bevis Marks. The other one is in Willemstad, in Curaçao. There used to be one in Aruba and in Suriname, Paramaribo, but that one, unfortunately, was destroyed. That synagogue in Paramaribo, interesting tale, is the one that my ancestors helped to build. When we consider Parashat Et Hanan in the book of Devarim, when you consider laws, when you consider temples, we also need to understand that not everything is perfect. When Sally will be singing soon, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How good are your dwelling places, O Israel, your tent of Jacob. May this be a reminder of that. Before Sally will sing, and she will sing, and starting on page 161, I want to share with you a blessing on humanity. God of the spirits of all flesh, you created one human being, so all humanity is one. You created us in your image, so all are equal in your sight. In a world so vast, may all find for themselves a home. In a world so small, let us make space for one another. In times of conflict, may we help to bring understanding. In times of bitterness and hate, may we offer healing and love. When faith erects barriers, may our understanding of you build bridges. When faith is betrayed or misused, give us courage to seek your truth. Sally, it's up to you.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And we're going to start with Martovu, which is on page 161 of your Siddur. And it's the short version. Martovu, Ahane Yaakov, Mishkolotecha Yisrael. Martovu, Ahalet Leah, Mishkolotecha Rachel.
Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah, uverah bo nekavim, chalolim, galui v'yadua lifnei kisei kvodecha, she'im yifatech echat mehem, או יסתם אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed are you, God, who heals all flesh and performs such wonders. We are now going to page 163. My God, the soul you have given me is pure, for you created it, you formed it, and you made it live within me. You watch over it within me, but one day you will take it from me to everlasting life. My God and God of our generations before me, as long as the soul is within me, I will declare that you are the power of good deeds, the ruler of all creatures, possessing every soul. Blessed are you, God, giving new life to our bodies each day. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hamachzir Neshamot Lametim. And we're now going to page 164. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'lo asani nochri. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'lo asani aved. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'sali kol tzorki. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael betif'ara. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten laya'ef koach. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir sheina me'einai utnuma me'afapai. We're now going to page 169. We're having our study passage. And before we start our study passage, there's a blessing before we start. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. The study passage that I selected for today is a study passage you can find on page 495 of your Siddur. And it's on the bottom. It's the study passage on the Shema and its blessings, because as we know that in Parashat V'et we find a repetition of the Shema in our overarching portion. We will not be reading it today, but it's part of the parasha of this week. We are a delegation of the Jewish people visiting the palace of the sovereign. Before the gate, we stand to attention, face the same direction, smarten up, wait in anticipation. Our delegated representative announces our presence and calls us to order. Bless the one whom we are called to bless. For the first time as a community, as Israel, we respond, blessed is the living God, whom we are called to bless forever and ever. We enter the first chamber of the palace, the blessing called Yotzer Or, who formed light. We share this reception area with others. As we look around, we experience the light of creation. The walls dazzle as stars and planets whirl about us. A change of perspective, and the earth lies before us, lush green and white and blue. Look closer, and we see it swarming with every form of life. Step back, and we are aware that we are not alone in this chamber. Other delegations of Jews are here in all their diversity, each intent, each acknowledging, however reluctantly, the presence of the others. But looking further, the chamber becomes ever more crowded. People of every race and color, of every known faith and every private belief. For this chamber is the first blessing that will lead us to the Shema, the blessing that celebrates creation in all of its beauty, diversity, and energy. It evokes light and darkness, peace, but also all that is not really peace. Though overwhelmed at first by this richness, we're not merely tourists in God's world. Impatiently we move on. Our visit